sports.
We are the Fourth. We are Florida.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to South Florida. Second game of a four-game set between the Marlins and the first-place Atlanta Braves. Another beautiful night here at Marlins Park. One thing the Marlins would like to do tonight is figure out Freddie Freeman. Easier said than done. A career-high 5 hits, including a 2-run home run last night, a couple of RBIs. Ozzie Albies had himself a big night as well. Lewis Brinson with a home run late in the ballgame, his 5th in the top 3 among Major League rookies. But it's all about getting back in the win column tonight for the Marlins. With that, we say hi again, everybody, and welcome inside the broadcast booth, Paul Severino and Todd Hollinsworth. Well, the Marlins in a little bit of a skid right now. They have lost 4 straight games. They've given up a lot of runs, and it seems like it's happened quick in single innings over the course of the last 4 days as well. A 7-run 6th last night.
Well, and that's what they're looking to avoid tonight. I mean, I think you're getting back to the basic principles of Marlins baseball this season. What can you do better? Yeah, try to avoid that big inning, but ultimately play Marlins baseball, good defense, keep the offense down as much as you can and hope that your offense gets in gear. Low-scoring ball games. You see last night, it happened fast. Caleb Smith did a fantastic job hanging in there. Steckenrider just did not have that breaking pitch working. In the span of 3 pitches, the Atlanta Braves are going to score 6 runs. That's right, 6 runs, and this thing was over. So we know how the Marlins have to win baseball games. Great bullpen, good start. Keep it down to 2-3 runs. That will be the challenge tonight for Dan Straley, who's making his 3rd start of the season.
Yeah, in the first 2, he has not gone more than 4 innings. The first one, maybe not as sharp. Last start, rain shortened. That's why he only went to 4 innings in Cincinnati. So what do you expect tonight?
Well, I think you're going to see an awful lot of his changeup tonight. His fastball command's got to be outstanding. The reason I say the changeup, especially those top lefties in the Atlanta lineup, you got 3 of the first 4 hitters. They're all hot, swinging the bat well. Dan Straley in those 4 innings in Cincinnati had a fantastic changeup, in fact. Now remember this, the slider's still been a work in progress. We'll see how it's developed over the last 5 days, but those secondary pitches are going to be big. The top 4 hitters in the Braves lineup are really good fastball hitters.
It's a special night at the Yard tonight. Cuban Heritage celebration. We'll hear from Freddie Gonzalez on the other side of this break. Park. An awful lot of fun tonight. Cool festivities throughout as the Braves and Marlins play the second game of a 4-game set. Might have to get some cafecito up to the booth later, just for fun. Let's go outside to center field. Craig Minervini.
You'll be pumped up for the show with some of that cafecito, Paul, there. Good evening again, everybody. Cuban Heritage Night. So we talk with Freddie Gonzalez. His parents from there, of course. Freddie born there and has made a great career for himself in the Major League Baseball. And we talked a little bit about the heritage of Cuban baseball and Cuba.
You know, I remember growing up and listening to my dad talk about all the great ball players in Cuba and the history of you know, minor league baseball in Cuba, the Cuban Sugar Kings, and the winter ball down there, and then you come and you get a chance to work with Tony Perez and Tony Taylor, and those guys played those games down there. So it's great. It's great to do that, and for us to celebrate it on the baseball field is even better.
And a special package tonight, fans getting a beautiful Cuban Heritage Marlins jersey, and proceeds going to several Cuban organizations around town. That's just part of the backdrop of tonight's Game 2. It's the Marlins and the Atlanta Braves. Braves are hot, won Game 1. Marlins looking to even it up with Dan Straley going tonight against Brandon McCarthy. And Paul and Holly will have the call when we return on Fox Sports Florida.
Brought to you by Southwest Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By WB Mason, who but WB Mason, the official office supply company of the Miami Marlins. By Chevrolet, see your South Florida dealer today. And by your local Toyota dealer, Toyota, let's go places. Cuban Heritage celebration here at Marlins Park tonight. Braves and Marlins. Dan Straley is on the bump as he looks to continue his road back to being certainly a front end of the rotation type for this rotation, and a tough test for sure against the Atlanta Braves. Top to bottom, one of, if not the best offenses in Major League Baseball. Saw it last night. Night runs, 16 hits, and this top of the order, you want to go 1-2, you want to go 1-2-3, you want to go 1-2-3-4. Heck, you want to go 1-2-3-4-5. It's about as deep as it gets.
Well, it's certainly one of the better lineups in baseball. Very productive. That's why you find them at top most of the offensive ranks in the National League, including batting average. You know, there's Dan Straley making his third start of the season, 6.75 ERA. Throw that out. Still pretty early. He's working into form. Last start, range short, 4 innings, 3 hits, a couple earned runs. That was a Joey Votto 2-run home run. One thing that has caught my attention, the walks. You certainly don't want to see that from Dan Straley. career numbers here at Marlins Park, making his 20th career start. He's got a 3.84 ERA. He faced Atlanta 5 times in 2017. He was 2-1. Keep an eye out for the changeup tonight from Dan Straley. Four-seam fastball, likes to move it around the strike zone. His slider's been a big pitch, although he's given up a few home runs on the slider. The changeup will be big against the lefties.
Ozzie Albies picking up right where he left off last night with a foul ball, 0-1.
Let's go ahead and give you the Marlins defense right now. Brought to you by Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center. Eric Dietrich gets the start in left. Brinson in center. Had a nice game last night, including a home run. Anderson in right. Prado, Rojas, Castro, and Bohr. JT Realmuto behind the plate.
This one is lofted out to shallow left field. Back is Rojas to put it away, and just 2 pitches to retire Ozzie Albies. The reason why we point that out is because last night he saw 33 pitches in 6 at-bats. He made the Marlins work all night long.
Well, he earned himself a slider out over the plate. Certainly got his payback late in the ball game. Tough out in the first inning as well. 17 hits already, so good to get him out of the way.
Ronald Acuna Jr. takes a called strike. He's 1 for 5 in last night's ball game. Youngest player in Major League Baseball. And he spun out of the way there. A ball and a strike. Somehow got the shirt out of the way. And now a ball and 2 strikes.
That'll be important for Dan Straley to work to both sides of the plate tonight. Sometimes what happens when guys don't possess top-tier velocity, 95, 96 miles an hour, hitters start to creep. They like to lean out over that dish. Straley's got to keep the hitters honest tonight.
Chopped softly to third. Martin Prado on the run, and there are 2 up and 2 down. So nobody on base for Freddie Freeman, who had himself a career best 5-hit night last night. This could have been a double if Brian Anderson didn't cut it off, but there would be more where that came from. A base hit up the middle from Freddie Freeman in the 3rd, another knock in the 5th. He also had a home run in that 7-run 6th inning and a career high 5th hit later in the ball game. So 5 for 5 to up his average to 326 after a big opener to this 4-game set. Now the 0-1 to the Braves first baseman. Alerting the dugout there, 0-2.
He was the counter punch to Albies last night. Did all that damage in 10 pitches. Right? Well, you talk about a guy getting the top of the lineup, working the pitcher and seeing lots of pitches, fouling everything off. Freddie Freeman steps in and says, I'll make quick work of this. 10 pitches, 5 hits.
And now the 0-2 misses outside, a ball and 2 strikes. Well, in a day and age, and Albies does this, he hits for power. He's got a very high slugging percentage. But in a day and age where leadoff hitters are kind of the power guys in lineups, you don't see that prototypical leadoff guy who sees the 6, 7, 8, 9 pitches in at bat. It was, I guess it was nice to see in that perspective last night. Jose Bautista cracking the back of Ozzie Albies right there.
Well, I'm guessing Albies has probably got a nickname something close to franchise by now.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, this is a... There are some young guys. I need to stop myself because we went through the numbers last night. They're near the middle of the pack when it comes to age among position players, but there is some youth among this team. Freddie Freeman draws the walk, but it's been Freeman who has kind of been through all the lean years in Atlanta and now reaping the reward of all that weight as this team enters play 22-14, a half game clear of the Philadelphia Phillies at the start of play. Their skipper Brian Snitker has led this team to the top of the National League East here 11 days into May.
Just to piggyback off, a little bit of our conversation last night, we talked about Freddie Freeman, kind of the carryover through what was the thin years, call him a pillar player, somebody you build around. I had forgot, Andrelton Simmons. I mean, literally they traded everybody away. I mean, Andrelton, one of the best young shortstops in the game of baseball today, having a great season out with the Angels right now. Was the Atlanta Braves. They're like, nah, move him out. One person we're keeping is Freddie Freeman.
Yeah. And I guess Julio Teheran on the pitching side, the only starter that we won't see in this 4-game series.
He's been in here a little bit longer, but I'm not sure he actually goes, far enough back. Maybe he does. Look at his numbers, but still relatively young.
Right. Down low to Nick Markakis, 2 balls in the strike. Markakis last night 2 for 5, a 340 average. How about a 305 average as a team with 2 outs? First in all those categories. You cannot put this team to bed. But Dan Straley got it right by getting the first 2 men out before the walk to Freeman.
Dan has done a fantastic job in the first inning of mixing his pitches. I know he's at 17 right now, but it's been a combination of changeups and sliders, working the 4-seam fastball around. He actually got Albies out on the changeup, Acuna Jr. out on the slider. The relevance of the changeup is not just in getting swings and misses, although his changeup can do that. It kind of acts like a 84-mile-an-hour sinker at times as it'll fall off the table, but it allows his 91-mile-an-hour fastball to play up a little bit. So think changeups down, fastballs at the top of the zone.
Lined out to center field. Brinson has room, puts it away. Straley works around the 2-out walk to set down the Braves in the first. Of the first inning, JT Realmuto will lead things off tonight for the Marlins, as this is their lineup, very similar to what they put out last night. This is a team that has played better at home, played some tighter games at home. It's kind of their game. They're not going to get into the knockdown, drag-out kind of offensive outbursts with other clubs, so they've got to keep it close, which they did until the middle innings last night when it slipped away. Brandon McCarthy is on the mound tonight, starting his 8th game here in 2018. He has been around to a few different clubs in his big league career.
Well, Brandon McCarthy is a little different than Fulton-Avich last night. Goes about it differently. Point being, the Braves play well behind him. They've actually won 5 of his 7 starts, where Fulton-Avich last night, the Braves had only won 2. And here's the interesting part. He's got a 4.84 ERA. 4-1, certainly impressive, but again, those are pretty mediocre numbers to start the season, except the wins.
mentioned the wins. He started the season 4-0 for the first time in his career.
McCarthy's very big individual, 6'8". Not the only person in the building that comes close to seeing Shaquille O'Neal eye to eye. 225 pounds, McCarthy, 34 years old. Let's give you the AutoNation scouting report. Blow-up start. That was his last start. 3 1/3 innings, 12 hits, 8 earned runs. Command not there. Major issue as his sinker and cutter were up and over the middle of the plate. 12 hits allowed. Now, if the Marlins can work ahead, I think they've got a real good opportunity to do some damage. And here's some numerical evidence that I like to throw out along with it. Runners in scoring position, 441. Here's the other thing that stands out. When he falls behind in the count, hitters are hitting 414. Meaning he is much more likely to make pitches and mistakes out over the plate when he's trying to get back into counts. So Marlins can do some damage in those spots. He's got a vast repertoire as well. As I mentioned, sinker, cutter, curveball, slider, 4-seam fastball. The sinker, cutter are primary pitches. Curveball comes along, throws it about 22% of the time.
The 2-2 to the Marlins backstop. Ground ball, fair ball inside the line. And toward the corner. Going to be extra bases for Realmuto. Thinking about it, but he'll put on the brakes after the leadoff double.
Yeah, that's got to be a great sign for the Marlins tonight. Here's why. Brandon McCarthy and leadoff hitters 0 for 18 until that double right there by JT Realmuto. How about it? Great start to tonight's ball game. Gets out and around it, but able to keep it fair down the third base line with a runner in scoring position. Yeah, we've thrown those numbers out already. Good to see. Swing by JT, quality at bat to start the game.
So that'll bring up Martin Prado, who was 2 for 4 last night, had an RBI, snapped an 0 for 19. The longest drought of his career, matched an 0 for 19 that he had back in 2014. And we saw after his base hit that he, motioned, give me the ball, I need the ball. So I asked him, I said, did that hit mean something to you that we didn't really see coming, or were you just goofing around? He said it was 0 for 19. He said when you're away from the game, you realize how difficult this game is. So, of course, not wanting to miss time. This will be a productive out. A chopper to the right side moves Realmuto to third. Not that he wanted to be away from the game, but certainly providing some perspective.
Let's give you the Braves defensive lead for tonight's ball game, brought to you by Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center. Cunha Jr. in left, Inciarte back in center field, Gold Glove winner. Markakis in right. Flaherty gets the start at third base. Camargo at short. Albies, Freeman, Suzuki behind the plate for Brandon McCarthy.
Again, Brian Snitker in his second full season after taking over on an interim basis back in 2016. His 5th decade as a member of the Braves organization. Here is Starlin Castro. And Castro with the infield back will drive in a run on the ground out. Too short. So an RBI ground out for Starlin Castro as the Marlins up 1-0, 9 pitches into the first inning.
Well, productive at bat by Martin Prado. Outstanding game last night. 3 hard hit balls. Starlin Castro, ground ball to the left side. Certainly don't want to see McCarthy settle in. Now when he does, that sinker's working. 2 ground ball outs. That's what he likes to do. Marlins hit the ball on the ground and off a lot, but a productive out, couple of productive outs, create a run.
And now Justin Bour. I mentioned before that the Marlins play better at home. They certainly play better when they score first. Since the start of the 2016 season, the Marlins have scored first in 56.5% of their home games. 3rd highest percentage in the major leagues, and they lead at 1-0 here. In inning number 1, Justin Bour takes a called strike, 1-1. Well, the successes for the Braves with 2 outs, certainly impressive. For Justin Bour as an individual, also not bad. Not bad. What am I saying? It's first or tied for first in every category. It's terrific.
It's leading the league.
Yeah,
man.
not bad. Come on now. Don't undersell it. Jeez.
JB, nice game last night. Did have a couple of walks. He's been very, very patient this season. Knows there's quite a few times where he'll get pitched around. He's not changed his game plan, which I think is the right approach. More career home runs and RBIs versus the Braves than any other opponent for JB.
One is fouled straight back, and the count runs full.
There's some interesting splits with McCarthy. Righties hitting .377 on the season with 1 home run. How about the lefties are only hitting .226, but they've got 4.
And Bohr draws the walk. First walk issued by Brandon McCarthy tonight. He walked 1 to go along with the 2 strikeouts against the Giants in his last start. And here is Brian Anderson. So much talk, and for good reason, about the hot start for Ronald Acuna Jr. When you look at Anderson, he's up there in those rookie ranks as well, but a soft liner too short. Marlins get a run and lead it after 1. For Miami, Geico presents This Day in History. Al Leiter on the mound. First no-hitter for the Marlins. He walked 2, 6 strikeouts, 104 pitches. Marlins all over the Rockies, 11-0 that night. Al Leiter, as Todd would perhaps agree with me, out of his mind, usually. No, we love Al. We love Al. We saw Al in New York. Certainly one of the good guys in baseball, no question about it. Love Al. Kurt Suzuki, Ender Inciarte, and Johan Camargo for the Braves here in inning number 2. Suzuki last night was 0 for 4. And on the ground to Miguel Rojas. A quick out in the second. Ender Inciarte is next to the plate for the Atlanta Braves. Started the year as the leadoff man, but since moved down in the lineup, they were doing for a couple of weeks in there that back-to-back leadoff guy thing where the pitcher hits 8th. Inciarte was hitting 9th. He has since hit himself back up to the number 6 spot in the order. And he takes a called strike from Dan Straley.
Well, he's heating back up. Nights ago, he snapped out of an 0 for 19 with a couple of hits last game in Tampa. 3 hits last night. Stolen base as well. And a good changeup from Dan Straley. He continues to pound the zone.
Now, Straley, every 5th day, as every pitcher does, you want to go out there, you want to execute your game plan. But the way that the last 4 games have gone for the Marlins, where Harlan Garcia only gave him, what, 4 innings the other day, and Tyler Cloyd had to pitch 3 innings. And then on Wednesday, Wei-Yin Chen gave him 3 innings. The bullpen was a little bit taxed. Last night, game kind of got away, even though Caleb Smith was really good. And Ciarte to Castro. And do you think he feels a different kind of pressure?
No. Dan Straley's in a spot right now where Dan Straley's got to worry about Dan Straley being great tonight for 5 innings, maybe 6, if that's where it takes him. He's got to go out and stop this Atlanta Braves offense and give this team a chance to win. It's only his 3rd start of the season. Listen, if he had started the season healthy, and we're talking 8th start of the season, everything you just said is a qualifier for tonight's ball game, but you can't put that type of pressure on Dan quite yet. He's got to find the slider. He's got to find his sequencing. He's got to find a rhythm. He's got to have that start. There's been a few moments in there. We thought he was breaking through in Cincinnati. Of course, what happened? The rains came, shortened it up, 4 innings. He's got to have a start where he starts to build off of that start and looks like the Dan Straley from last year.
A 1-1 to Johan Camargo. He's fouled into the seats down the left field line, a ball and 2 strikes.
Now, if those things happen tonight for Dan, he works into the 6th, maybe the 7th. Fantastic. You know what? He gets locked in. Those the changeup and the slider really working for him. That would be awesome. But you know, ideally, you just don't want to put that type of pressure on somebody who's now only making their 3rd start of the season.
A called strike 3. Camargo is retired. First strikeout of the night for Straley. A 1-2-3 second. The inside corner, 1-0. Welcome back to Marlins Park. A 1-0 lead for Martin Prano, Freddie Gonzalez, and the rest of the Marlins. How about Shaq, right? I didn't know they made a uni that big. That's a big uniform right there. We are. Yes, we are. All right, how about this, Brad Ziegler? Frame it up. There you go. That's a strike. I'm not telling him that was off the edge. Are you crazy? Shaq Daddy, forget it.
Well, is it fair to say we all look up to him?
Yes. Yes.
Including Brandon McCarthy at 6'8".
That's right. Even when he's on top of the mountain.
That's right.
There's Derek Dietrich. Takes a called strike. 0-2. Dietrich, Rojas, and Brinson due up in the 2nd inning. A Starlin Castro RBI ground out back in the 1st. Got the Marlins on the board against Brandon McCarthy and the Atlanta Braves. And that's the first out here in the 2nd. Let's take a look at the Toyota trend tonight. The Atlanta Braves have won 8 straight on the road. ERA under 1. Opponent batting average of 169. 25 walks, 80 strikeouts, 3 shutouts along the way. Oh, by the way, they've outscored opponents 50-8 in that run. So the pitching's been great, so has the offense.
It's 1 run a game. That's all I've got for you for the opposition. 1 run a game, you're going to win. A lot of games, right? Look at that number, 50-8. What is that? 8 games, right? So 5-1. They're winning 5-1 pretty regularly, right?
Miguel Rojas down on the count, 0-1. Rojas in last night's ballgame was 0 for 4. He takes inside, 6 for 15, couple of doubles, triple, and RBI in his last 4 games against the Atlanta Braves. Rojas has been something of a power threat at the bottom of the Marlins lineup in the first 5 or 6 weeks of this season. 5 home runs for him already. 4 in his career coming into 2018.
The challenge for the Marlins hitters tonight is to get him over the plate and in the zone. So much late movement. You see it there. Rojas obviously defending that inside corner on a 93-mile-an-hour sinker. You see where the pitch actually ends up crossing the plate. It ends up being a ball because it's got so much run to it. It's a pretty good look. Bores in on the hands. Go Rojas.
Rojas floats one out to left field, and it's a base hit. Just over the reach of Johan Camargo at short. And there's 1 on and 1 out for the Marlins.
That's the definition of fighting off a pitch. Oh, he pulled those hands in so well. Deep. That ball got deep in on him. Just enough to get it into left field. Great piece of hitting from Miguel Rojas. A little bit down on the bat, but listen, you get McCarthy up in the zone, you don't miss the pitches. Down is, you're going to put him on the ground. Get anything up, you want to see the Marlins swinging the bat.
Now Lewis Brinson digs in. It takes a called strike. Brinson with a home run in last night's ball game, 1 for 4, scored a couple of runs. His first career home run here at Marlins Park. First 4 as a Marlin on the road. Down the right field line and slicing toward the seats. 0-2. Well, the 5 home runs now. Time up with Tyler Austin of the Yankees, Shohei Ohtani of the Angels, Franchi Cordero with the Padres, and Christian Villanueva at the top of that rookie home run list. The Florida Lottery in-game jackpot.
Villanueva had a 3-homer game early in the season. Got a leg up on everybody.
Brinson retired for out number 2. Second strikeout of the inning for McCarthy.
Back to the sinker. A lot of times the sequencing that McCarthy likes to use, especially against the righties. You'll see sinker, then a lot of times they'll go to maybe a slider or a curveball, but then they'll put you away with the sinker again.
It's a strike to Dan Straley. 1 for 2 for Mr. Straley. Got his second career hit, right? Last time out in Cincinnati.
Base hit center field.
Line drive.
Stayed on his backside.
Right.
It's getting better. Been working on it.
The 0-2 is a little bit low. Career high 8 runs over 3 1/3 innings in his last start. First loss of the season. 12 hits, one walk rather, for McCarthy. Called strike 3. So gives up the base hit to Rojas, but 3 strikeouts in the inning for Brandon McCarthy as we are through 2 at Marlins Park. Miami up 1-0. It's off for heroes. Today we focus in on San Francisco Giants reliever Hunter Strickland, who is son of a Vietnam veteran who supports the Navy SEAL Foundation. He hosts some hunting trips for veterans and has been a finalist for the Bob Feller Act of Valor Award. So as we continue to focus in on those who focus in on the heroes, as it were, the veterans. Paul Severino, Todd Hollinsworth back with you here at Marlins Park to the top of the third. A 1-0 lead for Miami on an RBI groundout from Starlin Castro in the bottom of the first. Dan Straley, just one walk allowed today as he'll face Ryan Flaherty, Brandon McCarthy, and Ozzie Albies. 8, 9, and 1 for the Braves. Flaherty getting his first start since the 2nd of May. It started the first 23, the first 26 Braves games. A guy who's got a .315 average, got off to a very hot start, and an interesting story as well as to how he got to the Atlanta Braves. A 1-1 pitch from Straley is outside. So he signed February 8th of 2018 as a free agent with the Philadelphia Phillies. March 22nd, a month and a half later, he gets released. 4 days later, signs as a free agent with the Braves and makes essentially an immediate impact as he got a hit in 6 straight games to open the year. Be a 3-1 behind home plate and into the seats. Now 3-2. The last time out for Straley again had gone the 4 innings. The rain delay of a little over an hour put a cap on his day in Cincinnati, but Don Mattingly said that he was happier with Straley. He was a little bit more aggressive than he was in his first start. He gets his 2nd strikeout of this one. Come out to the ball game for a Japanese Heritage celebration on Sunday, May 13th, when the Marlins take on the Braves. Purchase a ticket package and you'll receive an exclusive Japanese Heritage t-shirt. Visit marlins.com/Japan today. And bring mom to the yard too on Sunday. Mother's Day here at the ballpark. It'll be certainly festive. A lot of pink. Players will be using their pink bats, pink spikes, pink uniforms, pink hats. I'll have a pink tie. Just fitting in. Trying my best. McCarthy fouls it away. 1-2. You should do that. Try your best. Every day. Some days are better than others, Ollie. I think you'd attest to that.
Big leaguers play a long 162 game season, don't they?
They do. They absolutely do. A called strike 3. If you go back to the 2nd, that's 3 straight strikeouts for Dan Straley. 2 up, 2 down here in the 3rd.
Here's the slider. Good spot to break it back out. We talked about the slider being a bit under repair. I mentioned it first couple of starts. He's given up 3 home runs on the slider. Able to work it in. Good spot to drop it in on Brandon McCarthy. 1 hit on the season.
Strike to Ozzie Albies.
As the lineup turns over for the Atlanta Braves, good to see Dan Straley mixing his pitches. He came out doing it tonight. He's been locked in ever since.
Albies had his first career grand slam in last night's ball game, and he comes up empty there.
Talking to Frank Medicina before the ball game, like, how do you slow down a really hot lineup? We were talking mechanics. You can change your mechanics, start, stop, quick pitch, do different things like that, or you can mix your pitches really well.
mention the aggressiveness that Don Mattingly pointed out. His last time out, he was able to use his changeup a little bit more. I know Todd had mentioned the importance of that changeup. This one down the right field line off the bat of Albies. And he is homered in back-to-back games here for the Braves. We're tied at 1.
Well, that is a pretty good example of what Mr. Albies does so well. Pulls the hands in, particularly from the left side of the plate, cuts the ball off. This is not a terrible pitch from Dan Straley. Boy, oh boy. This is more about Albies. Watch the location. Way inside. Ties Bryce Harper with a National League lead with 12 home runs. Watch the hands. Short, quick, and powerful.
Inside to Ronald Acuna Jr. a ball and a strike. Acuna Jr. grounded out to third base back in the first inning. And Albies now with 12 home runs. Only Mookie Betts has more in Major League Baseball. But as Holly mentioned, in the National League, even with Bryce Harper with a dozen. Came into this ball game already leading the National League in extra base hits. He now has 26. 36 runs, tops in the National League. So certainly a catalyst and a bit of a different game plan tonight from Albies. I don't know if it's necessarily a game plan or just how it all worked out, but he saw a ton of pitches in last night's game. A couple of quicker at-bats, one pop-up, one home run as Acuna Jr. strikes out. 4th of the night for Straley, but the home run for Albies has evened things up through 2.5. Look at our Chevrolet Prospect Spotlight. How about JT Riddle working his way back from an injury, currently at AAA with New Orleans on a 6-game hit streak, 15 for his last 29. As Real Muto drives one left field and gone. A solo home run for JT Real Muto. And the Marlins are back in front 2-1.
Yes, sir. What a great response from JT Real Muto. Set the stage early tonight with a double. Came around to score in the first inning and greets Brandon McCarthy with a counterpunch here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Now, he has been the one hitter that has looked in and has been able to pull his hands in and elevate. Short, compact, and right through the point of contact out in front. Mile-an-hour sinker, beautifully done.
And a strike to Martin Prado.
Give you one more look. This ball up at the belt. Said, do not miss up on McCarthy. Down is trouble. You're going to pound that sinker into the ground. You get him up, you got a chance to elevate.
5th home run of the season for JT Realmuto, a guy who Jeff Nelson talked about in our pregame show about players that are underrated.
Spot on about that on the national level. Completely agree. Seems like the attention goes everywhere but to JT.
I don't know how much longer that's going to go.
Well, things are working in his favor this year.
Certainly. 2-1 now to Prado. Chop to third. Flaherty. 1 away. One more look at the home run via StatCast. 29 degrees off the bat and right at 400. Right at that 401 sign in left field there. Either way, it is a solo home run, his 5th, and a 2-1 lead for the Marlins. And Starlin Castro takes a called strike. It was Castro that had the RBI ground out with the infield back in the 1st inning. His 17th RBI. And caught at short by Camargo. Like he may have gotten caught in between leaping or not. Able to stretch out and make the catch.
A couple of hard hit balls here in the 3rd. Back-to-back breaking balls from McCarthy to Castro. Starlin all over this one. Camargo goes up high, catches at the top of the glove for out number 2.
There's Justin Bohr, nobody on, 2 out. Bohr drew a 2-out walk back in the 1st inning. He's got 13 RBIs, or had rather 13 RBIs in 14 games against the Atlanta Braves last year. Over his last 10 here at Marlins Park, he's got an average over 300. 308 to be exact. 8 for 26, 5 home runs, 9 RBIs, getting on base nearly 44% of the time. He's already walked 3 times in this series and currently ahead in the count, 3 balls and no strikes. McCarthy pours one in, 3-1. Career home road splits for Justin Bohr. Pretty close.
Consistency, love to see it.
And draws another walk.
Clearly part of the Atlanta Braves scouting report coming in is be careful with Bohr. 4th walk of the series. Only played 12 innings.
There's Brian Anderson. Well, it was only, what, the first 10 games of the season. We were waiting for Justin Bohr to really get hot. If you go back to that game where he had the 2 home runs against the New York Mets, that's 25 games. He's got an on-base percentage over 400 and a slugging percentage over 560. So he has certainly straightened it out and gotten back to being that huge thumper, huge threat in the Marlins lineup. Ball and a strike now to Brian Anderson, who lined out to short to end the 1st inning. Called strikes as home plate umpire Sean Barber. The crew chief Mike Winters is over at first. Tim Timmons at second, and Rob Drake is at third tonight. Right back to McCarthy. The underhand flip to Freeman. But the Marlins back in front by a run thanks to JT Realmuto. Doubled and scored in the first. He homers in the third. 2-1. Heritage celebration at Marlins Park tonight. As Freddie Freeman takes low, Freeman, Markakis, and Suzuki here in the fourth inning for the Braves, trailing 2-1. So Dan Straley had the 1-0 lead, gave up the home run to Ozzie Albies in the third, got it right back thanks to his battery mate, JT Realmuto, who again has been in the middle of both Marlins runs tonight. He doubled and scored in the first, had the home run in the bottom of the third. Freddie Freeman, a guy who has been on base consistently.
Yeah, well, that's 6 straight times to start the series. 5 for 5 last night, walked his first at bat.
Going back over his last 17 games, a .366 average for Freddie Freeman. Certainly a 5-hit night helps. But he has certainly been on a nice little run for the Atlanta Braves. 3 men on the right side of the infield against Freeman. And the 2-2 pitch from Dan Straley will be his 55th of the night. Left field line into the seat, still 2-2.
Freeman really tried to stay inside of the slider on that pitch, almost trying to work against the shift. Ideally, we've talked about it. You're going to shift, you've got to pitch to the shift, and you've got to anticipate the type of contact.
No go, says third base umpire Rob Drake.
Once the hands pull in, it'll hold up.
Well, Freeman, much like the last 2 NL first basemen that we've seen, as Brinson will track this one down in center field. Freeman chokes up on the bat. as it gets later in the AV. We saw Votto in Cincinnati. We saw Rizzo in Chicago. Hit it out of the park with a family-friendly deal this Sunday, May 13th, when the Marlins take on the Braves at 1 p.m. Pick up the Aquafina Family 4-pack and score 4 tickets, 4 Nathan's all-beef hot dogs, and 4 Pepsi soft drinks or Aquafina waters, starting at just $84. Get your tickets at marlins.com/offers. There is Nick Markakis with 1 out in the 4th, taking a called strike.
Markakis, quality first at bat, hit it hard to center field, line out. See the numbers, boy, he has been just about on everything all season long.
Oh!
He hit his 7th home run of the season on the 9th, May 9th, against the Tampa Bay Rays. That was game number 35 for the Atlanta Braves. He didn't hit his 7th home run last year until game 117. Guy who was in the final year of a 4-year, $44 million contract with the Atlanta Braves. Of course, a long career with the Baltimore Orioles prior to Atlanta. And a base hit up the middle. So Markakis with his 3rd hit of this series.
Well, the 50th hit of the season from Markakis. The National League. Tuve's got 52 in the American League. So.
Well, 34 years old. Terrific defender in right field. Be interesting to see what happens with Nick Markakis at the end of this contract. But the winter a long way away. He's on first for Kurt Suzuki. And Suzuki swings at the first pitch, sends this one out to center field. Back is Castro, in is Brinson for the 2nd out. Straley had struggled with his control in his first 2 starts. 8 walks in 8 innings. He has just 1 walk through the first 3 2/3 here tonight.
It really seems like it's all coming together. Sequencing, the pitch usage, and the trust factor going to all of his pitches.
Inciarte fouls that one back. Ball and a strike. Let's take you back to last night for Ender Inciarte. Started with this double into right field. That was in the 2nd inning. Then in the 6th inning, got himself a base hit into right as well. He then stole a base. That was his 16th of the year. Added another double later in that 6th inning. That was the inning in which the Braves opened things up. Paced them to the opener off the glove of Bohr. It's a fair ball that goes down the right field line. Markakis will take a turn and head towards 3rd. A hot shot to Bohr. It went off of his glove. And now runners on the corners.
Well, Inciarte has been swinging a hot bat. His 6th hit now in his last 3 ball games. Swing the bat very well right off the top of the glove. It will rocket exit velocity, I'm sure, at 100 or more.
So an E3 sets up the Braves with runners on the corners and 2 outs. This is Johan Camargo, struck out back in the 2nd inning. One of 4 strikeouts tonight for Dan Straley.
Camargo rung up on a slider to the inside part of the plate, did not like it.
How about this? Let's go back to April 18th. He went 3 for 5 for AAA Gwinnett. I'm thinking, all right, big deal. First player to play in both a minor league and major league game on the same day since Lane Adams did it for the Braves last June. I don't know what it is about the Braves. I know Gwinnett is close to Atlanta, or where SunTrust Park is in Atlanta. How about that for a day? What do you get, like 2 half paychecks? What do you get for that? How does that work?
No, you get one. You get one full at the major league level. But good thing you had a hot day in the minor league game, right?
That's right. That's right.
Maybe you don't get the call up.
Runner goes, and that one fouled away. 0-2.
Phone call goes something like, "Hey, anybody swing the bat well today? We need something." Yeah. Camargo, 3 for 5.
Sure.
There you go.
Can he get here by 7:05?
You're on. Pack your bags. You're going to Atlanta.
Two. Runner on third is Nick Markakis. He singled and got there on the E3 that allowed Inciarte to reach. Inciarte was off on the last pitch, stays put for this one as that got a piece of Camargo, and Markakis will touch home plate, but just out of good practice. He'll head back to third as they will be loaded here with 2 outs.
Now talking about the sequencing, remember back to Camargo's first at bat. Slider, put him away, wasn't looking for it. 2-strike pitch inside corner. Dan Straley goes back once again. It's around it just a little bit too much. Finishes it off his back foot.
So Markakis, Inciarte, and Camargo third to first. The base runners for Ryan Flaherty. Straley still 1 pitch from getting out of this jam here in the 4th inning. Outside, a ball and no strikes. He struck out Flaherty. His run of 3 consecutive strikeouts spanning the 2nd and the 3rd. He struck out 4 of 5 batters spanning those 2 innings. The lone hitter he did not retire was Ozzie Albies, who hit a home run. As Flaherty lines one down the right field line. Foul.
Well, outside of the Markakis single, all of this traffic happening after 2 outs. I showed you the numbers of the Atlanta Braves with 2 outs this season. Do some of their best work.
So 70 pitches through 3 2/3 for Dan Straley. Two and one. He's up to 71 now. He got to 77 against Cincinnati. 78 against the Phillies in his first start.
He's working hard here in the 4th inning. That changeup getting away from him just a little bit. Left-handed hitters so effective first time through. Falls behind, he clearly becomes more predictable. Maybe the best slider of the night in a very big spot. Flaherty sitting dead red, gets a slider out over the plate. And a big swing and a miss. Get the 2 strikes for Dan Straley.
Bases loaded and 2 outs here in the 4th inning. That one's in the dirt, but blocked nicely by Real Muto. And the count runs full, so the runners will get a head start here.
Nice job by JT Realmuto sliding out. Easy. Buried that slider a couple of times now, well inside the left-handed batter's box. It's always made me nervous being the runner at third.
Start the merry-go-round. as Flaherty draws the walk, and we are tied at 2.
I certainly understand Dan Straley going breaking pitch at 83 miles an hour in that situation based on the trouble that he had on the bases. Situation required a strike. Unable to get it done.
So here's Brandon McCarthy. Bases loaded again for Atlanta. And there's a called strike. McCarthy struck out back in the 3rd. Why'd it make you nervous? Because you're bearing down on a guy who's ready to swing?
Major league hitter. I don't know, exit velocity, all sorts of crazy things. You're running right at him.
61 feet away. Yeah, I tried to
take on a train.
Guess so. This one out to right field sends Anderson back. Still back at the track. Will make the catch for the final out here in the top of the 4th inning. But the Braves get one back on a bases loaded walk. We're tied. Downstairs to Craig Minervini.
All right, thank you very much, Paul. And Brandon McCarthy is on the mound. He was voted, along with his wife Amanda, in recent years as one of the Sports Illustrated top tweeters in sports. And a tweet actually came out last week when he had a bad game against the Giants in Atlanta. Giants scored 11 runs and won. Bruce Bochy, before the game, said he wasn't allowed to park in the spot in the media area, so he had to go over to the Braves lot, but then noted afterward, I'll park wherever they want when we get 11 runs. So Brandon McCarthy, who was pitching, said, hey, I gave up all those hits and runs out of respect for you after hearing about your parking snafu. And his wife then threw in, Brandon, that's not how you do baseball. And that's probably why they were among the top tweeters in sports. I don't know who else is in that category, but there are some good ones out there. Maybe Shaq is, who's in the house here.
Could be.
Tonight.
Could be. I bet you our good buddy Ken Rosenthal's at the top of that list. Right? He's got all the inside information. Those guys. Big time numbers on followers. Derek Dietrich thinks about bunting, pulls it back, and it's 1-0. Dietrich, Rojas, Brinson here in the 4th inning. Swings and misses, 1-1. Dietrich struck out in inning number 2. That's where all 3 of McCarthy's strikeouts came from. That one inning. Also gave up a hit to the next batter, Miguel Rojas, in that frame. Dietrich with a base hit up the middle. And the Marlins have one on. Hey, Marlins fans, now you can stream games live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Presented by T-Mobile. Download the app and take Fox Sports Florida and the Marlins wherever you go. Paul Severino, Todd Hollinsworth, Craig Minervini back with you here at Marlins Park. Second of a 4-game set. Going to see a lot of the Atlanta Braves in the next week or so. This 4-game series A day off Monday, 3 against the Los Angeles Dodgers, and then on the road to Atlanta. Rojas swings at the first pitch, and that one lined hard into the seats down the first base line.
I think still hasn't stopped rolling. It's a ricochet. Nice at bat by Derek. Dietrich made a nice in-at-bat adjustment. There's the foul ball one more time. That's after it's already hit. That carom was high off a, I don't know, wall.
I hope it hit a railing first. I think it did. That was just beyond the extended netting, which goes this year here at Marlins Park. It was kind of at the, I guess you could call it that, the mouth of the dugout next to the on-deck circle. That's where it ended last year. Now it goes beyond the camera well as Rojas lines another one foul.
Rojas, very nice first at bat, single into left field, fought off a few tough pitches. This at bat really trying to stay inside the baseball.
Marlins have 4 hits. One of them a home run from JT Realmuto. And one from Miguel Rojas, who takes inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And that's a base hit. Past the outstretched arm of Freddie Freeman. To third goes Dietrich. And the Marlins in business in the 4th.
Well, how about it? Miguel Rojas, 3rd time's the charm. Fought off 2 sinkers, was a little bit late. It's actually the slider. So a little less velocity, same approach. Able to line it down the right field line. Pretty good game planted by the Marlins shortstop.
And now Lewis Brinson bats with runners on the corners and nobody out. And that's going to get through. A chopper over Flaherty. An RBI for Brinson. Into third goes Rojas. Brinson to second. It's 3-2 Miami.
Now that's what we're talking about. That is Marlins baseball. You want to see that aggressiveness. A chopper over Flaherty's outstretched arm. Watch the aggressiveness on the bases. That's what you want to see. Of course, Dietrich's going to score easy. You got Rojas well on his way. The throw goes into third base. Brinson does a fantastic job of staying on his horse. Listen, you don't settle for a single, an RBI single in that situation. You're looking for more. He knows Rojas is on his go, making his way around the bases. You take second.
Now the infield in for Dan Straley, who takes a called strike. Well, this has been a completely different ball game than what the Atlanta Braves have been accustomed to as of late. Again, they have won 8 straight on the road, having outscored opponents 50-8 in that stretch. As Straley grounds one to Camargo, there will be no advance, and there is 1 out. So coming into this ball game, Braves starters hadn't allowed an earned run in their last 31 innings on the road. McCarthy has given up 3 earned runs tonight. They also hadn't allowed an earned run in 17 innings during the current 3-game win streak. But tonight, the Marlins have gotten to him, as has JT Realmuto. A double and a score, and a run scored back in the 1st. A solo home run in the 3rd. Now a chance for more. Infield in again as he fouls that one back. 0-1.
Now this was the counter punch in the 3rd inning. Love it. First pitch you see. After the Albies home run the inning before. That's right, Marlins retake the lead. That's what I love tonight. There's been a little punchback. Both times the Braves have scored tonight. Marlins have responded in the bottom half of the inning.
Right side, Freeman looking, but that will reach the seats.
Slider at 88 miles an hour.
Again, infield in with runners on second and third. Inside, a ball and 2 strikes. The inning started with a Derek Dietrich base hit. Miguel Rojas a base hit. Lewis Brinson with a base hit. Before the Straley ground out as Real Muto turns away from that one. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That's a great take. McCarthy really trying to, Real Muto to bite on the sinker in. As you can tell, it's off the plate, 93 miles an hour. Thinking with 2 strikes, he's going to have to defend it. It's a fantastic take. Watch how it runs off that inside corner.
Right back up the middle, bounces off the mound and into center field. Brinson will get held at third. And a run comes in. There was a little bobble in center field by Inciarte.
I'll take another look. Rocket off the bat of JT Realmuto. Catches the mound and makes its way into center field. Coming after the ball has already gotten to the glove of Inciarte. Really no chance for Brinson to score. He had been stopped at third base.
How about the night for Real Muto? 3 hits, and it's only the 4th inning. Inside to Prado.
You know what I love about his 3 hits tonight? You know, coming in, I told you about the McCarthy stat, you know, fun with numbers.
That's
0 for
right.
18.
Yeah.
0 for 18 leadoff batters had been against McCarthy into tonight. JT Realmuto now 3 for 3.
That's what we call upsetting the apple cart.
Yeah, I like it. I look for that stuff.
Prado unable to hold up. Ball and a strike. 4 singles in the inning for the Marlins, as they have answered right back. They scored 1 in the first. Braves tied at the top of the third. Marlins 1 in the bottom of the third. Braves scored a run in the top of the 4th, and 2 so far here for the Marlins. They're looking for more against Brandon McCarthy, who's at 65 pitches right now. Giving up 7 hits, a couple of walks, and 3 strikeouts. To third. Flaherty to second for 1. Albies over to first. There is a double play that will end the 4th inning. But 2 runs in thanks to Brinson and Realmuto. Marlins on top after 4. Is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. The Cleveland Clinic, stiff joints, aches and pains. Trust Cleveland Clinic, Florida, the #1 orthopedic care in Florida. And by the Lincoln Spring Sales Event. Drive into spring in a new Lincoln. Nice cool night here in South Florida. A 4-2 lead for the Marlins as we go to the top of the 5th inning. Ozzie Albies set to lead things off for the Atlanta Braves. He has been a force to be reckoned with throughout this season and throughout this series. Of course, last night, his first career grand slam, and in his last AB back in the 3rd, a home run. What will he do here in the 5th? Albies, Acuna Jr., and Freddie Freeman, with the Marlins having a 2-run lead here in the top of the 5th inning. Squares to bunt, pops it up, and it gets stuck in the netting. Oh, now it's wedged in there. Get it, get it, get it.
Well, he should
there
get
we go. Perfect.
He was going the other way. It was like he was going to give it back at first. I was thinking, oh, push it towards you. You'll get it.
Good strategy right there. It's a veteran maneuver.
It's like shaking the candy bar machine, you know? It's like halfway out. Just shake it a little bit.
Because you can't put another $1 in there.
No.
Because now you've spent
It's
$2
yours.
for one Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
It's yours.
So when that's happened to me before, and I feel as though I need to alert the people around me before I start shaking it, because they'll think I'm just trying to rob the thing. So I'm like, hey, you know, thing got stuck, hang on a second. And then I just scream at it for 5 minutes. Full count to Albies. 81 pitches for Dan Straley. And fouled back. Well, again, you go back to last night. There's 33 pitches seen for Ozzie Albies. First 2 at bats tonight. A little bit more efficient, I guess you could say. Against last night's starter Caleb Smith, who was good through 5 in the 3rd innings, charged with 2 runs. He struck out 5. As Albies draws the walk. And now a message from FPL.
FPL is proud to support our first responders in good weather and bad. See how at FPL.com.
So Dan Straley will try to work around this leadoff walk to Albies. He's got Ronald Acuna Jr. 1 for 7 so far in the series. That one misses outside, and out to the mound goes JT Realmuto.
Now JT's trying to get Dan Straley locked back in. The message goes something like this: we just put 2 on the board. We've got the lead. Let's be aggressive here. Let's make some pitches. This is a big spot in this ball game. We want to get Dan Straley through 5 innings. Juan Nieves on the phone. Marlins have lost 4 consecutive ball games. 3 have been painful. 1 really painful based on some missed opportunities.
Oh for 2 tonight, a ground out and a strikeout. 1 of 4 for Straley through 4+ innings as Albies is back. Well, this right here is what would you consider to be the classic shutdown inning. Junichi Tozawa chats with Dean Traynor in the Marlins bullpen as Straley is at 85 pitches. Acuna Jr. A long foul ball down the left field line. That was onto the concourse out there.
Yeah, that was off over the corner of the upper deck.
But just as good as a swing and a miss.
A impressive distance, a long foul ball. Wrong with that. Just mention it because it was impressive from where we sit.
2-1. Albies goes. Realmuto throws to second, and that one's going to get to center field. Albies on his way to third. And Brinson overran it, but gets to it quick enough and fires in to keep Albies at third.
Albies going to get a pretty good jump. It's a breaking ball. JT Realmuto. A tough throw as it short hops Starlin Castro into center field. Albies on his way to third base. You know, we watch more and more kids today, base runners today. They watch the baseball behind them. I have no idea why. This situation right there, he knows that ball's in center field. He should be looking at nothing more than his third base coach.
Is that
Washington?
A good third base coach, by the way. Is that just a situation where they're doing it to trust their own instincts?
Well, listen, the read is yours at second base. There's nothing wrong with that. Nice slider. Swing and miss.
Strikeout his fifth.
And the idea really is just that once you've committed to going to third base, he's going as fast as he can, and really he should be coming busting it around third base. Watch this. Certainly not to pick on this young man. He's a tremendous, tremendous baseball player. But the instinct's right there. Fantastic. That's unnecessary right there, and that slowed him down. He probably has a chance to score right there with the bobble in center field if he's watching Ron Washington and not looking over his right shoulder.
Freddie Freeman takes just outside the zone. A ball and no strikes for Freeman, who walked in the first and lined out to center field in the fourth inning.
Freddie Freeman, 441 with runners in scoring position this year. 1 for 1 last night.
A ground ball foul, 2-1. Opportunity here, as I mentioned before, for Dan Straley to throw up a shutdown inning. Braves scored in the third. Marlins answered in the home half. Then the Braves evened it up. And then the Marlins with 2. I always love it when the conversation of, well, every inning should be a shutdown inning. Yes, if you really want to simplify it, sure. A pitcher never wants to give up runs.
It's called taking the emotion out of the game of baseball. How do you do that?
Exactly. So with this part of the Braves order in the middle innings of this game, as the Marlins try to snap a skid, you see Freddie Freeman and Nick Markakis on this list of guys with 40 hits, 20 walks, and 20 RBIs.
Who are they hanging out with? Judge, Machado, and Trout. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Some pretty elite company.
Brand names for sure. To Bohr, a diving catch.
Yeah, they tried him again, right? First line drive off the glove, not this time.
That was ticketed for the corner. A tremendous play.
A huge out. Oh my. Full extension. Leaves his feet.
Your Bonefish Grill fresh catch of the day.
Loves the agility of Justin Bohr. How about it? Instincts, good reaction. Well, here we go again. Nick Markakis steps in. 2 outs. Runner in scoring position. So through a game and a half of this 4-game series, going back to last night, 2 out runs for the Atlanta Braves. 8 of 9 last night, and both runs tonight have come with 2 outs.
We documented it before. That is certainly the MO of this club. They make you work for all 3 outs, especially that third one. No balls and 2 strikes to Nick Markakis, who lined out to Brinson in center in the first, singled and scored in the 4th. And now Straley 1 strike away from leaving Albies at 3rd. That went into the seats, still 0-2.
This will be pitch number 99 for Dan Straley.
Tazawa up moments ago for the Marlins. .99 pitches, 61 strikes for Straley. As Markakis lines a fair ball into right field. This could be a double for Markakis. It's an RBI. And now it's 4-3. Well, a number of things should come as no surprise. That's his 10th double of the season. Close the gap to 1.
You see the balance in the swing of Markakis, which makes him one of the most dangerous hitters in the game. When I say that, it's because he's got an all-field approach. What really has showed up this year is the power numbers. You mentioned the doubles along with the home runs. He is a line-to-line hitter. Don Mattingly making his way to the mound.
40 doubles, at least 40 doubles every year for Markakis from 2007 to 2010. That's already his 10th. It's May 11th. Don Mattingly out to talk with Dan Straley. Situation where he is going to let him go. First guess for me. You like this decision?
Yeah, I love it. This is a vote of confidence from manager Don Mattingly. I think he went out there and said, listen, I got some activity in my bullpen right now. You're at 100 pitches. I need to know that you're going to get this out. I need for you to look me in the eyes and stare me down and say, Suzuki is my guy. This inning ends now. Marlins protecting the 1-run lead here in the 5th.
Oh, 0-1 to Suzuki. It's just how Straley has been tonight, trying to get back in the groove.
You see
Top
him
of this rotation.
Now you see him at his best. That's when the slider has some life to it. All the fastballs at the top of the zone.
0-1 to Suzuki, who is 0 for 2. A ground ball, diving stop by Prado, gets up, dug out by Bohr. Great play by Prado. A nice pick by Bohr, and a terrific decision to keep him in the ball game. Marlins up a run in Miami. Intervening with you, a 4-3 lead for the Marlins. Dan Straley at 102 pitches, 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs. He walked 3, struck out 5. A meeting on the mound, Don Mattingly said, "What do you got, big guy?" He said, "I got Suzuki." He's also got some good defense behind him. Martin Prado, a terrific diving stop to take away a hit. A nice pick on the other end by Justin Bour. And the tying run was stranded on base. So 4-3, Starlin Castro. Drills one out to left center field, and this one is gone! A solo home run for Starlin Castro. And the Marlins up 5-3.
Yes, sir, indeed. First Marlins Park home run for Starlin. Comes on the 68th pitch from McCarthy. Widening that lead. 2 home runs tonight. Told you the great numbers for the right-handed hitters going up against McCarthy. How about it? No doubter. Starlin knows he's got it all. Little elevated sinker.
Now Bour down the left field line, but that will slice into the seats. 0-1.
Home run number 2 for Starlin Castro. 427 feet. How about 107 miles an hour off the bat?
Ball on the strike to Bour after the 2nd home run of the season for Starlin Castro. 101 in his career. Bour fouls that one off. A ball and 2 strikes.
One-two.
Two to Bour, who has already walked a couple of times tonight. Grounds 1 to Albies at 2nd. And there is 1 away here in the 5th. Castro with the 2nd of 2 Marlins home runs tonight. 1 for Realmuto, 1 for Castro. That one to left center field.
Both leading off an inning. Realmuto's leading off the 3rd. Castro's leading off here in the 5th.
Projected distance at 427. That's impressive for Starlin Castro. This one not 427, but a hit nonetheless for Brian Anderson.
It's called a lob wedge. Well done by PA. Line moving.
They don't all have to be barreled up.
No, certainly don't say that in my book here. 1B. Keep the line moving.
9 hits tonight for the Marlins. Here's Derek Dietrich. And Anderson on the move. Throw down from Suzuki, not in time. Stolen the base for Brian Anderson to move into scoring position. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning.
I was wondering if that might happen with Suzuki behind the plate. He has yet to throw out a base runner this year. 11 for 11. Base stealers against, well, not just Suzuki, certainly the Atlantic pitchers as well. Saw the great jump by Brian Anderson. Now 12 for 12.
2nd career stolen base and 2nd of the season. Now Dietrich, center field, falling in front of Inciarte. Anderson had to hold up. Not sure if the Gold Glover was going to track it down, but the Marlins have runners on the corners with 1 out in the 5th. Another hit for Dietrich.
Now things seem to be straightening out for the Marlins. This is going to break his bat. It's strong enough to get it into center field for his 2nd hit of the night. job. A little elevation.
Now Chuck Hernandez is going to go out and talk with Brandon McCarthy. Junichi Tazawa loosens for the Marlins. First and third. The Marlins have scored in 4 of the 5 innings tonight. 1 in the bottom of the first, 1 in the bottom of the third, 2 in the fourth, 1 so far here in the 5th. They've hit a couple of home runs. Peter Moylan up for Atlanta. So Miguel Rojas with Anderson at third, Dietrich at first after Dietrich's second hit tonight. 9th multi-hit game of the season for Dietrich. Rojas has a multi-hit game as he bunts this one foul. Rojas couple of singles, 1 in the 2nd and 1 in the 4th. He also came around to score in the 4th inning on the Real Muto RBI single. Braves have won 8 straight games on the road, having outscored the opponents 50-8 in that stretch. But tonight the Marlins have put 5 runs on the board, make it 6 with a base hit for Rojas, his 3rd, and it's 6-3 Miami.
Yeah, the offense has come to life. It is so good to see the Marlins, see the smile back on the faces, and the lead now working in their favor halfway through this ball game. 3rd hit of the night for Rojas.
And now Lewis Brinson takes the breaking ball low. Brinson had an RBI single in the 4th. For Rojas, his 3rd 3-hit game of the year.
2nd in 3 games.
Well, we showed you in our prospect spotlight earlier. JT Riddle's got a 6-game hit streak. He's hitting .517. But if Rojas continues putting up 2 and 3 hit nights, you know, while it's unfortunate for a guy like JT Riddle in a sense, that's exactly what they're trying to do here with this club, is make it so that guys at the lower levels are pushing the guys that are already here at the big leagues. And at least tonight, in that sense, Miguel Rojas has answered the bell with 3 hits and an RBI and a run scored. 6-3 Marlins here in the 5th. Still 2-2 to Brinson.
Some of this great offense. Paul, I got to tell you, I know we had the run in the 1st inning, but these have all been counter punches to Atlanta scoring, and that's how you take down a heavyweight. That's how you go up against one of the best teams in baseball, a team that's winning consecutive games on the road, 8 straight, outscoring their opponents 50-8. What do? Every time they score, you score. That's right. You can take the wind out of their sails that way. They certainly have a potent offense, no doubt about it. Marlins have been up to the task tonight.
3-2 to Brinson. Soft liner to Flaherty, and the throw to second. to get Dietrich doubled up. We are through 5, though. 2 more runs in for the Marlins. Starlin Castro connecting on his first homer here at Marlins Park. It's now 6-3. The Steel City. How about Andrew McCutchen back, traded to San Francisco this offseason? Of course, such a terrific career with the Pittsburgh Pirates, having won a Most Valuable Player award back in 2013, a 5-time All-Star, a Gold Glove winner, a standing ovation. Certainly meant so much to that franchise, was there in their leaner years, of which there were plenty. They didn't have a winning season for, what, 20 some odd years. McCutchen was there when they finally turned things around. Junichi Tazawa is in the ball game, pitching for the 19th time this season. He takes over for Dan Straley, who went the first 5, struck out 5, and now Tazawa has a 3-run lead to try to protect. You'll see Inciarte, Camargo, and Flaherty due up for the Braves here in the 6th.
Here's what you want to hear. He's pitched very well at Marlins Park this season. 2.53 ERA, 9 appearances at home. It's a key spot. You'd love to get a shutdown inning. The Braves have scored in the last 3 innings.
And the first pitch to Inciarte is fouled off down the left field side. 0-1. In 5 innings, 2 earned runs for Straley, 5 strikeouts, 102 pitches, 64 of them for strikes. What's your assessment on the righty?
Yeah, he is getting better with each start. A little bit longer tonight. Certainly a bigger challenge, really, when we talk about what the Atlanta Braves have been doing, scoring 50 runs over their last 8 road games. I mean, they're a dynamic offensive force. We talked about this last night in regards to Caleb Smith. Let's be honest. Great as he had been, probably expecting him to, have a little less against a high-powered offense. Well, for Dan Straley, he steps into this situation. Only went 4 innings his last time out against the Reds, making his 3rd start, all in all. I'll tell you this, I'll wrap it all up, all 102 pitches, into the meeting that Don Mattingly had at pitch number 100, just kind of feeling the energy of that moment, that conversation that went down on the mound. Getting that big out, getting to the 5 innings, and obviously watching the Marlins respond in the bottom of the 5th to widen the lead to 6-3. I think there's any better feeling in baseball than your manager giving you a vote of confidence and then you backing him up. It is some of the best moments that you'll run across on a field. Now, a lot of times that'll be in the dugout. It won't be in front of your eyes. And very rarely do you see it with a manager on a mound in today's games. A lot of this stuff is, so much of it is scripted as far as who's pitching and when they're pitching. But that point right there, love it. Love to see the emotion of those moments.
Half of his pitches tonight were the fastball. As Inciarte pops this one up, Realmuto gives it a look, but that will get into the first row behind the Marlins dugout. So there's something that Mattingly is looking to hear when he goes out there.
This is a reflection of what went on tonight. When you see the percentages between the slider and the changeup, it certainly tells you how talented the Atlanta Braves are. We talked about it early. Listen, Dan Straley can't change his mechanics. He can't start to throw submarine trying to get some of these Atlanta Braves hitters off the fastball or off the pitches. They're hot right now. So what do? You come in with a great mix. That is a great mix. Half his pitches the four-seam fastball, but using the slider and changeup the other half of the time. Great stuff.
Equipment issue for JT Realmuto. He seems to be all set. So Tezawa looks in for the sign. Inciarte chokes up with 2 strikes. The 2-2 delivery from Tezawa. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
How about it? Pulling off one of the hotter Braves hitters in Inciarte. Love it. Right at him. 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Really good fastball. Good velocity. Good location.
Ball inside to Johan Camargo, who struck out looking in the second, was hit by a pitch in the fourth. Starting at shortstop last night and tonight with Dansby Swanson on the disabled list. A wrist injury for the everyday shortstop of the Atlanta Braves. That one back, and it's 1-1. Now a message from FPL.
FPL is proud to support our first responders in good weather and bad. See how at FPL.com.
The Atlanta Braves have struck out the second fewest times in the National League. They have struck out 6 times in the first 5 1/3 here tonight. Margo out to center field. Brinson with room. A couple of steps in front of the track, and there are 2 away. With a 3-run lead here in the 6th inning, a very important inning for Tezawa to try to get to the bridge, or he is the bridge rather, to get to guys like Bearclaw, guys like Guerrero. Second rider pitched last night, 25 pitches in 1/3 of an inning, so likely not available tonight. Ball 1 to Flaherty, who had a bases loaded walk in the 4th inning. Also struck out in the 3rd.
Good to see Tezawa going right after hitters. Saw a few times on this road trip as some of the contact started to happen. He steered clear of the strike zone a few different times. He's got to maintain his aggressiveness inside the strike zone, particularly with the lead. It's a big spot here in the 6th.
Jose Bautista on deck. And the number 9 spot for McCarthy. 2-1. Saw Peter Moylan up while McCarthy was dealing in the bottom of the 5th inning. Perhaps he'll be the next guy in for the Braves. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and now 2-2. Flaherty played in only 23 games last season, but he played 12 games at second, 5 at third, 5 at short, 1 in left, 1 in right. A lot of bang for your buck out of this guy last year.
Yeah, continues to hit. You see him bouncing around the Braves field as well. He's going to start getting some more reps at third base. Obviously, Jose Bautista called up.
Line, base hit. He serves one into left field. A 2-out knock for Ryan Flaherty. And that will bring up Jose Bautista.
Well, hard to argue with production from Flaherty. Lost his job because of Jose Bautista. He'll come on and pinch hit. First pinch hit appearance here in 2018. In his career, 7 for 53 as a pinch hitter. It's a 132 average.
I think in Toronto he was much better as a starter. I think that's what it was.
But bat flips.
Decent at those too, if you're into that sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
15 big league seasons.
He's had a very impressive career.
Just a change in swing mechanics, basically, right?
Well, that and opportunity, and I think that's the way to go with it. Sometimes you say to yourself, boy, if that guy just got a few more at bats, wouldn't he be a heck of a starter? Well, you're right. I mean, you make some adjustments and you start to improve offensively, but then the at bats start to come.
Now 0-2, just off the edge. Definitely a ball, but 1-2.
I like the tenacity of Tazawa tonight. He's pitching with some conviction. His pace is much better. Getting right back up on the mound. He's ready to go. Sometimes when he gives up a few hits, he really slows it down.
Bautista is a guy in 2006 had 16 homers, 2007 15 homers, 2008 15, 2009 13, 2010 54.
Hello.
Jeez. Now to the Braves on a minor league deal. Buckled there, and the inning is over. A big strikeout of Jose Bautista. A couple of strikeouts in the inning for Tazawa. A 6-3 lead for the Marlins. look. Of course, the Marlins celebrating Cuban Heritage Night, and some Cuban-born Marlins saw Orestes Destrada, Livan Hernandez with a strike 3 call, question mark. Of course, the late Jose Fernandez, so electric in his time with the Marlins. Adeiny Echeverria, one of the better defensive shortstops in the game. Long list. Odrisamer Despaigne, who's currently on the disabled list for the 2018 Marlins. We celebrate Cuban Heritage Celebration Night here at Marlins Park. A longer list there. Also heard from Freddie Gonzalez before the game, the third base coach for the Marlins. So, some fun stuff at the yard tonight as J.B. Shuck takes outside. Shuck hitting in the spot of Dan Straley. The number 9 spot. Peter Moylan, the second pitcher of the night for the Braves.
39-year-old Moylan still getting it done at the major league level. See the mechanics. Comes from down under. Fastball, slider. Still getting it up there pretty good. 89 miles an hour. Slider, a sweeper in the 70s, high 70s. He's had some trouble this year, though. 9 of 17 first batters have reached base.
Here's a called strike. Did you do that on purpose, by the way?
What do you got?
When referencing his delivery, that he comes from down under?
I did.
He's from Australia.
I know.
Okay. For those that don't, it was an excellent job on your part.
Oh, I appreciate it. It's kind of my sense of humor. I like the deadpan. That's the gong. I like it.
I liked it. My ears perked up. I was waiting for you to finish your point.
No, I had made it already.
I know
I'm all about selling it. Well, there you go. Leadoff base runner. We talked about it. 9 of 17. Now 10 of 18. Great swing by J.B. Shuck. Good job getting himself into a hitter's count. Going right back through the middle. That's how you elevate. Ball at the bottom of the zone.
So now back to the top of the order, JT Realmuto. Marlins leading off an inning tonight, 5 for 6. So you want to put pressure on a pitcher, you want to put pressure on a defense, get the first guy on base. This guy has been on base 3 times, and he is a triple shy of the cycle right now.
Well, the Marlins have gone 4,018 games, no cycles. Get it out there now. Realmuto, he needs a triple, right? He's got 13 career triples. A shot at this. There you go.
Never in the history of the franchise. It's only the bottom of the 6th. He might have 2 cracks at it. Check over at first, and Shuck is back. J.B. Shuck with a base hit a moment ago now has a hit in all 4 games against the Atlanta Braves in his career. Stays put as Realmuto takes ball 1. Chop to short. Camargo goes to second, and they get the lead runner 1 away.
Well, that's right where Moylan wants it. He wants the ball on the ground. Camargo, nice job. The lead runner. The shot they had was that Shuck.
Here's Martin Prado, 0 for 3 tonight, grounded into a double play to end the 4th inning.
Very productive first at bat. JT Realmuto had doubled, making sure that the Marlins were going to give themselves an opportunity with a runner on third in the 1st inning. He gave himself up. Ground ball to the right side, put JT on third base. He'd score on Castro's ground out. Marlins have not trailed tonight.
Third stint in a Braves uniform for Peter Moylan. He's with them from 06 to 2012. Spent 2013 with the Dodgers. 2015 back with the Braves. 16 and 17 with the Royals, and now in his 18th game this season with Atlanta. Realmuto fouls it back, 1-1. Prado fouls it back, rather. Ball and a strike to Prado, takes that one low, 2-1.
That's a good spot to put a guy in motion. Let's see if JT's not off of the pitch. He's not. He's down.
Starlin Castro waits on deck. He homered in his last at bat. A couple of RBIs tonight for him. There's the 3-1 inside, and there are 2 on and 1 out. Let's go back to the 5th for Starlin Castro. Career home run number 101, a no-doubter to left center field.
Now, many of us believe that once he got to 100, he would unlock the power, and Starlin would certainly start to show it. Well, how about it right there? 427 feet. Good to see Starlin backing it up. He's got 15 home run power, in my opinion, in this park. Certainly a very talented hitter, line to line. We've talked about it all season long. He's continued to produce. Batting average, right, just a tick below 290. Point being, I think there's more in there, and we'll see more as the season goes on.
Another RBI opportunity here with Realmuto at second base, but he takes a called strike. He started the day second on the team in batting average to the man who is at second base, Realmuto, who's got 3 hits. He's reached base 4 times. This one on the ground to short. Camargo to second for 1. Albies with the turn and a 3rd inning ending double play for the Marlins. But they have a 6-3 lead going to the 7th. Welcome back inside Marlins Park. Paul Severino and Todd Hollinsworth with you. A 6-3 lead for the Marlins as we go to the top of the 7th inning. The big guy, Teheran Guerrero, out of the bullpen for the 19th time this season. 30 strikeouts compared to 9 walks for him. A big arm out of this bullpen at one point this season. About a week and a half ago. At this point, he had thrown the hardest pitch in Major League Baseball, right at the top there with Jordan Hicks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Another guy who was consistently over 100 miles an hour. Aroldis Chapman, kind of still in that same sentence. Got the top of the order, Ozzie Albies, Ronald Acuna Jr., and Freddie Freeman. So not your traditional save situation, right? It's the 7th inning. But this is certainly a big inning with the top of the order due up for the Braves. Down by 3. We know about their quick strike potential. Albies fouls that one back.
Continued to see it from the Braves throughout the series. They've been scoring runs, getting it done. Zawa, great last inning. Delivery from Guerrero, lots of velocity. Last pitch at 98 miles an hour. Well, we know Albies can hit a fastball.
But not that one at 101. And there is one away.
Some pretty good sequencing from Guerrero. A couple of fastballs down in the zone, and this to the top of the strike zone. Yeah, that's right. You set your sights down. 101 miles an hour. Dare I say at the waist, tough to pick up. Short list of guys who are catching up to 101 up there.
Now Ronald Acuna Jr., who hasn't caught up to much tonight. He is 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. He takes upstairs. Arguably the top prospect in the game. Really depends on which scouting service you look at, but the best that the Braves have for sure. Their player of the year last year across 3 levels, hit .325 with a .374 on base percentage, .522 slugging percentage. See a 1-1. Drifts outside, 2-1. I'm just looking at the pitch speed leaders. Aroldis Chapman's got the hardest pitch thrown at 10. Sounds funny to say it. 103.3. I mean, this is a guy who's got a tattoo of like 105 on his wrist. So apparently he's taking it a little off these days.
Temperatures to heat up.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. He's actually got the 2 hardest thrown pitches this year. But Guerrero has thrown one at 101.8. That has since been surpassed by 18 other pitches, either from Hicks or Chapman.
So you want to be a closer.
Yeah, right. Well, how about that? I mean, now we've seen Guerrero for, what is this now, 16, 17, 18 outings this year. When you look at what he possesses, right? Does he have closer stuff?
Well, certainly does. That's the real test for Guerrero is not right this second. It's going to be, for me, in the second half. Listen, Atlanta Braves seeing him for the first time. Philadelphia Phillies seeing him for the first time. You know, the Yankees, Brewers. His name will get around, his innings will accumulate, and then you say, okay, how does he sequence when guys go up there and they say, okay, I know where that release point is, I know he throws hard, but it's going to change a little bit when you get that second and third at bat against him, particularly inside this division. Well, that hasn't happened yet. That's why I really love this opportunity at the beginning of the season. Dial it up.
Out to center field, and Brinson retire Acuna Jr. And Marlins fans, be sure to tune into Marlins Live, the pregame show before tomorrow night's game, presented to you by your South Florida Honda dealers. Craig Minervini, Jeff Nelson have you covered. A sit down with the skipper Don Mattingly. And Star Wars night tomorrow. Special ticket package for those that still haven't made the decision to come to the yard tomorrow. Plenty of that. Lots of lightsabers and people dressed up like Chewbacca and all kinds of fun stuff tomorrow night. Fireworks show after the game. There's Freddie Freeman. Two starters tomorrow night, Mike Soroka and Harlan Garcia, by the way, as that first pitch is at 7:10 tomorrow night. The defense behind Guerrero with 2 outs. And the 1-0 to Freeman. He holds up 2-0. Freeman tonight walked in the first. It was 6 straight plate appearances, reaching base after the 5-hit night last night. He lined out to Brinson in center field and had extra bases taken away by Justin Bour in the 5th. Jesse Biddle up in the Braves bullpen. To the shift from shallow right, it's Castro. Close play at first, but Freeman is retired. A 1-2-3 7th for Teheran Guerrero and the Marlins. Got him. 6-3 as we stretch in Miami.
Now the leader of the band is right here, David. Yeah! How about him?
Yeah.
David!
Pachanga!
You guys are in mid-season form and it's only May.
That's it. We're going to be here all season long. Pachanga Band, Miami Marlins Pachanga Band.
What makes the Pachanga Band so special?
It's the only Major League team that has a percussion group like this, and we just try to keep the crowd alive and bring the energy, try to get the players in the mood. Look at the score. We're winning 6-3.
Bring it to him. Are you available for weddings and bar mitzvahs?
Say what?
Are you available for
We
weddings?
do
and bar
everything.
mitzvahs?
We do weddings. We do divorces. We bury people. We do whatever we gotta do.
Just ready for your divorce. Whatever you need. All right, play it to the break. No, we can't do that. We can't do that. The game is going on, guys. Let's get back to the game before we get in trouble out here. We're thrown out of here.
Oh, they'll let you back in, Craig. Come on, you know people. You'll be fine. 6-3 as Brian Anderson takes the ball, 1-1. One out already for Jesse Biddle, who got Justin Borda ground out to the right side of the infield. 8th game this year for Biddle out of the Braves bullpen.
Probably should not be surprised at the ground ball out. That's what he does really well. 3-1. Ground balls to fly balls. Good fastball, 94 miles an hour. Also throws the slider and the curveball.
Two-1 to Anderson. Lines it out to deep center field. Inciarte is back, still back on the track, is able to make the catch. And there are 2 away. You hit it out towards center field. Inciarte is going to track it down.
Now he got a great break. Gold Glove winner. Drop step to the right. That's why I think a lot of times he shades a little bit opposite to the right-handed hitters. He certainly knows what's being thrown. That situation right there, we've seen it a couple of times in the series already. So fast to his glove side. See where that hip opens up and he drop steps, and he is almost going max speed, I'd say, within 2 steps.
Through a vacant left side of the infield, Derek Dietrich with a base hit with 2 outs here in the 7th inning.
Love it. Yeah, good to see Dietrich back. Been really struggling a little bit with the bat. Nice night tonight. His 3rd hit of the game. Timing seems like it's back. Front leg down.
Holly, do you have an answer for this? Right-handed batters coming into tonight against Jesse Biddle, a lefty. Right-handed batters, 2 hits in 22 at-bats. Lefties hitting .455. How do you explain that?
Well, probably has to do with the secondary pitches more than anything. His fastball, as you can see, is relatively straight, so that's not that's not upsetting the timing of a left-handed hitter. But the point is that his slider is probably tight and not sweeping.
Drop to second, Albies. Works around the 2-out single. We are through 7. The Jenga Band and the Marlins rocking and rolling.
All right, here we go. Star Wars night is returning to Marlins Park. Marlins are going to take on the Braves one more time. This is a 4-game series, so you can purchase a ticket package and receive an exclusive Star Wars Millennium Falcon hat. Now, fans who arrive early can also get a limited edition Star Wars night poster while supplies last. Let's stick around after the game for a special fireworks show. Visit marlins.com/Star Wars today. Now, tomorrow's sneaking up on you.
It is. It absolutely is. Cameron Maven out to left field, part of a double switch. Derek Dietrich's night is over, as is Tehran Guerrero, had a strikeout in an inning. And now Kyle Bearclaw out for the 17th time here in 2018. He's got Nick Markakis, Kurt Suzuki, and Ender Inciarte trying to protect a 6-3 lead. 3-4-0 for Atlanta, 6-13-2 for the Marlins. We go to the top of the 8th inning. Marlins trying to snap a 4-game losing streak. Also trying to snap an 8-game road win streak for the Atlanta Braves.
This is the 23rd game Bearclaw has pitched in against the Atlanta Braves. Great numbers, 1.80 ERA. We know he has had a very good start to his season.
Nick Markakis is up to 18 consecutive at-bats or plate appearances without a swing and a miss. Isn't that astounding? To me, that blows me away. It's terrific bat control, barrel awareness, whatever terminology you want to use. It really lends itself to how good of a start this has been for him this season.
Well, 17 multi-hit games, including tonight. Let's see if he can hit this slider. I went fastball. My bad.
You still think it's coming, don't you?
I think he heard you. Yeah, there it is.
Gets the bat on it. Maven tested in left toward the corner, makes the catch. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live at home, in the office, or on the go with MLB.tv. Your subscription includes MLB at Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Kurt Suzuki 0 for 3 tonight. He was up as the last batter faced by Dan Straley. And on Straley's 102nd pitch, he got Suzuki to ground a hot shot toward third. Martin Prado, a terrific play to his glove side to make the diving stop. Threw across the diamond. Justin Bohr picked it out of the dirt. Inning threat over. And Straley exited the game after 5 with the lead. To center. 2 outs.
Fair to say that moment you just talked about, maybe the biggest moment in this ball game. When you take all things into consideration, and the Braves had just scored again. And manually wanting to keep the lead. You mentioned Marlins have had the lead all night. A few innings where they've been tied. Point being, certainly did not want to see Dan Straley let in another run. And give some momentum back to the Atlanta Braves. After recording the out, the Marlins responded almost instantaneously. Well, yeah, instantaneously. That's fair. Starlin Castro.
Right.
427-foot home run to left center field.
Two 2-0 to Inciarte. Reached on an error back in the 4th inning. Also struck out tonight. One of 2 strikeouts for Junichi Tazawa. Guerrero had 1 in his inning of work in the 7th, and Straley, tonight's starter, had 5. 2-1. First time we've seen Bear Claw in a couple of days. Last pitched on May 8th against the Chicago Cubs. Called strike on the outside edge. Fly ball center field. This is Brinson. 3 fly ball outs in the 8th. JT Realmuto is due up 3rd in the inning. He needs a 3-base hit for the cycle tonight. See if he can get the first one in Marlins franchise history when we come back. Top of the 8th inning, Paul Severino, Todd Hollandsworth, Craig Minervini. It's Lewis Brinson, Cameron Maben, and JT Realmuto against Jesse Biddle. As Brinson squares to bunt and taps it foul. So when Realmuto comes to the plate 3rd in this inning, he's got a double, he's got a homer, he's got a single. I'm no genius, but he's a triple shy of the cycle. Camera well. Godfather down there, and a duck out of the way. Whoa, look out. He was ready. Got to get the Godfather glove down there. That's what we need. Dangerous if you don't have your head on a swivel, but they do down there. They're ready for it. Brinson swings and misses, one away here in the 8th.
Now big breaking ball, top to bottom. Starts out at the belt, ends up at the shoe tops. Play off. Unorthodox delivery by Biddle. Delay game. Effective enough.
He just kind of picks up the right foot and sits there for a second.
Right.
Here's Cameron Maben, came in as part of a double switch in the top of the inning. And a high chopper over the leap of Flaherty and down the left field line. Maben on his way to second base with a 2-base hit. He is now 14 for his last 48, his last 18 games. Boy, oh boy, he is hot coming off the bench tonight with this bounding double.
Picked up a couple of base hits down the third base line tonight. Some that look just like that. Just out of the reach. Just enough. That's all it takes. As soon as it gets into the corner. Maben standing on second with his 8th double of the season.
All right, so here's JT Realmuto. Needs a triple for the first cycle in Marlins franchise history. Blocked by Suzuki, but he directs it up the third base line, which helps to keep Maben at second base. A double and a run scored in the first, a home run to left in the third, an RBI single in the fourth, and he reached on an error in the sixth. Line to short, and Maben is doubled up. It's the fourth inning-ending double play that the Marlins have hit into. 4 in the last 5 to try to finish off a 6-3 lead. Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Southwest Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center, in pursuit of your cure. And by your South Florida Honda dealers. Cuban Heritage celebration here at the ballpark. Fun night of baseball to this point. A 6-3 lead for the Marlins. They have pounded out 14 hits tonight. And they make some defensive changes here in the 9th inning as Miguel Rojas slides over from short to first. And Yadiel Rivera in the game to take over at shortstop. And on the mound is Brad Ziegler. Ziegler looking for career save number 100.
Ziegler's been throwing the ball very, very well of late. Got the 3-run cushion here in the bottom of the, top of the 9th.
Strike to Camargo, 1-1. Camargo, Flaherty, and it looks like Preston Tucker might be the man that hits in the number 9 spot for the Braves. Coming off the bench, Camargo takes ball 2.
Well, ideally, you'd like to see Ziegler stay at the bottom of the Braves lineup. And it's kind of asking for perfection. We've talked an awful lot about what the top of the lineup can do.
Slapped foul. Well, the difference in velocity is astounding. Tayron Guerrero started the day with the 3rd highest average fastball velocity. Ziegler, the slowest average fastball velocity. But that one induces a ground ball to Rojas. Takes it himself at first, 1 away. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by the Florida Lottery. Don't miss your chance to play for the massive Powerball jackpot. Pick your lucky numbers and get your Powerball ticket at any Florida Lottery retailer. The Florida Lottery, it's your ticket. Claim it. Must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly. There's Ryan Flaherty taking ball 1. He had average fastball velocity of 83.3 miles an hour.
Yeah, I'm not sure Guerrero warms up at that speed.
You might be right.
Well, I love the counterbalance. We talk about it all the time. Ziegler getting that 9th inning. Pitching after all the velocity that was in before him. I mentioned the arm angle and the depth. It'll mess a hitter up.
Flaherty, a bases loaded walk earlier in this ball game. Now a chopper to Rivera. Strong throw, 2 away. Stay tuned for our Marlins Live post-game show presented by WB Mason. Craig Minervini, Jeff Nelson wrap things up. JT Realmuto, a triple shy of the cycle. Certainly hoping not to get another at bat because that would mean a 2-out 9th inning rally for the Braves. We'll hear from Don Mattingly after this one as well. Get his thoughts on Dan Straley's outing today, how the bullpen did, how the offense bounced back. All coming up right after this one. It is in fact Preston Tucker. He swings at the first pitch. They had him shifted 3 men on the right side, so a pinch hit base hit for Tucker with 2 outs here in the 9th inning.
Yeah, willing to go the other way now. 5 for 12 with a walk as a pinch hitter. He's been the Braves' best pinch hitter this year. He's going to get this lineup turned over. Obviously going to get one more at bat at least for the 9th. Getting back to Ziegler. He's had a nice career. You mentioned going for save number 100.
Out to Maben in left, and there it is. A 6-3 win for the Marlins, and even 100 career saves for Brad Ziegler. Congratulations to him. A nice round number. A nice win for the Marlins as they snap a 4-game losing streak. They also snapped the Atlanta Braves' 8-game road win streak. Maben will hand him the ball, I would think. There you go. Find a safe spot for that as the Marlins win this one 6-3. And you could really point to that guy right there. Not only did he have a good night, but he started it immediately, leading off with a double in the bottom of the 1st inning, and it was really all JT from there.
Gets a hanging breaking ball, rips it down the 3rd base line. You're right. Setting his tone, setting the stage. JT, that's why he's in the top spot, that leadoff spot, trying to get him some pitches to hit. How about jumping all over the sinker? 5th home run of the season. That was in response to the Braves when they went on their scoring run. Another RBI base hit. A well-struck baseball there as well. Very nice night for JT Realmuto out of the top spot in the lineup.
Well, again, we've talked so much about the resolve of this team, the ability to bounce back. I mean, they lost 4 games in a row. It's going to happen. But I think it's really how they lost the 4 games. I mean, you can make a case that, you know, they were non-competitive games. I mean, they had gotten really beaten up by the Chicago Cubs. The one game that they lost, there was a lack of execution, a lack of energy, hustle, whatever you want to call it. So that was a tough one. Last night, got away quick, a 7-run 6th inning. Tonight, right back on the horse. They score in the 1st inning, and even though the Braves had tied it, they didn't really look back.
Yeah, it's Major League Baseball. Nobody feels sorry for you, especially when things aren't going your way. Atlanta Braves came in. They certainly put up some efforts early in this ball game to try to take that lead. And One thing I really get back to is the fact that the Marlins responded to the Atlanta Braves 3 different times in this inning. They scored in the top inning, the Marlins scored in the bottom. So great stuff. All right, let's go downstairs. Craig Minervini with JT Realmuto. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I think we're okay. Are we in business?
We're good. We can hear you.
This is the only thing that didn't go well for the Marlins tonight. JT Realmuto, you started out with that double tonight. Kind of set the tone. You've been beaten up 3 of the last 4 days. Can you comment on kind of answering tonight? It seemed like every time the Braves scored, you guys got going. Monkey's not wasting any. He's talking tonight. Good defense, I thought, there. The only catchers. That was a great defense. Well, by JT, which is typical. All right. Monkey was a little talkative, a little chatty here tonight. Let JT clean up. All right, you got the not bad. Bad tasting. That's a menthol.
Whipped cream.
You should go to whipped cream.
I don't know why we don't do whipped cream.
Well, you are one of the leaders in this team. Put in a good word. Talk about tonight and how it went for you guys.
I mean, yeah, it was just big for us to bounce back after the last few games. We haven't played very well. Our pitching hasn't been there. Our hitting really hasn't been there, you know. So it's good for us to come out there tonight and pitch well and hit well and kind of get the ball rolling. Hopefully we can win this series.
How do you like leading off?
I like it, you know. I like that extra bat every night is nice. Sometimes, like tonight, lining out my last bat, that sucks. But just being in the front of the lineup, you know, trying to get on base for the guys and score for them, I like that.
Aware or unaware you were a triple from the cycle?
I was aware. That's like, I mean, I can't tell you how many times in my career I've been a triple away.
You have been, yes.
Yeah, it's been like 3 or 4 times the last couple of years. I can't quite get it. I don't know.
And the crazy thing is, the Marlins have never had one.
I know. I've come close a few times, but I can't finish. I don't know.
One of these times you're going to get it. Dan Straley tonight, I think he's been better in each and every start. What was your thought on start number 3 tonight and his progression?
Yeah, I mean, he battled tonight. That's a good lineup over there. You know, they put together good at bats. So his pitch count got up a little higher than we wanted. Made a couple mistakes that they capitalized on, but other than that, he threw the ball really well. He was able to mix well, located fastball well. Like I said, just a couple bad pitches hurt his start, but other than that, he threw the ball really good.
I thought a signature moment in this game when you looked at it was Don Mattingly coming out to the mound in the 5th inning. JT, I can only recall maybe once or twice, and I could be off, that he's come out and not pulled the pitcher. What was the conversation like? I'm sure Straley loved hearing the fact that he got a chance to get out of it and be in line for the win.
Yeah, Don just come out and said, no BS, you know, tell me if you can get this guy. Tell me if you can finish this inning. And Dan said, absolutely. He said, no, I want it. Like, I want to stay in. I want to get this guy. I can get him. And he did. So made the pitches to get out of the inning. So that was big for us to save the pin that out. And Taz and the rest of the bullpen came in and did a great job after that.
And nice to see him get the victory, too, when he's putting a lot of work to get back. And he's such an important leader on your ball club from the pitching staff.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice to get him that win. You know, that 1 out was huge for him to get and to finish off the W for himself.
All right, good job. Thanks again, JT.
Thank you.
All right, big game for JT. He's going to get that cycle one of these days.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
And let's hope they move to whipped cream at some point, for goodness sakes. Big night for JT Realmuto and a big night for the Marlins. 6 runs on 14 hits. They take game 2 of this 4-game set. Much more to come in a moment.